Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another episode of I Don't Know. Agnostics Adventures. I forgot. Music off. Oh. Welcome into another episode of I Don't Know, an agnostics adventure and subjective reality. We're off to a great start here. And you want to know why? Would you like to know why? Because it's Friday. It's Friday! And the Lord is coming. Now, the weekend is fake, but the nice thing about the weekend is that it isn't fake because society agrees to it. And I'm going to give some props to the religion I grew up in for having a built-in one-day weekend. Now, thank God it's two now. You may have heard of this because it's not strict to Seventh-day Adventism. You may have heard of a little thing called Sabbath, Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. I love the concept of Sabbath, even though I'm not an Adventist or a Jew. But it is the concept that after 6 days, the Lord made the heavens and the earth and all the other things, which obviously he obviously didn't have it in 6 days. Can we just take away the whole that's actually a thing? Like the 6 days, it's fake. It's all fake. All right. If you want to talk about the astrological reasons behind a 7-day week, we could talk about that. But the philosophy of working 6 days and making sure you get 1 day off a week, I mean, honestly, don't we all deserve that? Isn't that the American dream, really, to have 2 days off? So here I am. It's Friday. Oh, I have people here. It's Friday and the Lord is coming. Happy weekend to those of you who celebrate the weekend on Friday and Saturday. If you celebrate the weekend on something like Sunday and Monday, happy almost weekend. Also, this is live, but also recorded. So happy whatever day it is to you right now. So it's Friday for me, which I'm very happy and lucky and blessed that I have a Saturday and a Sunday off. Do you know how challenging that is when you move to New York City to become an actor, or you just live any non-traditional life? You know, you work in fucking the service industry for some reason. My cats are running around like crazy. They're happy it's Sabbath. It's so I never had Saturday, Sunday off until ever. I still don't. I have put my phone on Do Not Disturb. But I'm definitely going to accidentally check work emails and respond to work texts. And sometimes that'll be wonderful. I'll be very excited because in many ways, I love what I do. I own my own company. I have wonderful people that I work with. But at the same time, just like everyone else, I fucking hate working. Don't you? I would rather, if I could, I would just hang out all day like it was a Saturday or a Sunday. But I wouldn't do that for more than a couple days a week because I don't know, I have to work. And I don't think that's internalized capitalism. You know, I think a lot of people are like, internalized capitalism will make you work yourself to the bone. And I get it because, you know, we do live in a society that really thinks hard work is just the number one quality. But hard work is valuable. It does feel good to do. You know, I think that is one thing. I mean, I think we get a little systematic. You know, I think if you can't pull yourself out of it and be like, okay, so money's not the most important thing, so I need to chill out a little bit on the whole clock in and clock it out and driving myself crazy for work. And this is coming from someone who I'm the boss, which is weird. Like I have employees and one of them may or may not be listening. Don't work too hard. You know, work exactly as hard as you. This is actually, we're getting real personal, y'all. This is going behind a paywall if you're not listening live. I think the most important thing that can change in society is leaders treating their employees like fucking humans and recognizing that sometimes you don't want to work hard for the whole shift. As long as you're getting your job done. Now, you can't fuck up. You can't make mistakes. You can't lose the company money. You can't not treat your customers well. You got to do everything you have to do. But nobody's going to be operating at 100% all the time. I'm not operating at 100% all the time. And that I feel like is a luxury that I've gained recently because I operated at 150% all the time until I died and started taking antidepressants, and then was carried through the luck of, the relationships I've struck and the whatever you believe in, all these things. Anyway, I hope that everyone. This wasn't actually meant to be on internalized capitalism. I'm going, guys. I hope that if it's your weekend, it's a wonderful weekend. You don't work too hard, and if it's not quite your weekend, you have a wonderful weekend. I was on my way home on the Metro North today. This is what I want to go away this weekend. I have a horrible pain in my left shoulder. This is apparently the signs of being however old I am, 37, almost 38. I turn 38 next week. And I'm just, anybody who's in their 30s or later or any age, maybe, I don't know. I can't remember what I felt like when I was 32. Can't remember what I felt like when I was 22. But in the last handful of years, my fucking shoulder just hurts randomly all the time, depending on how I sleep on it, depending on how many days I spend on the Metro North Railroad. And this is what really fucking bothered me. I was sitting on the Metro North Railroad, and I'm 6'3", so I don't have a lot of leg room, right? So I kind of have to put myself up, and sometimes I got to put my knees on the seat. And then when you move them, it's like the guy on the airplane and you fucking piss him off because you moved your feet, and he looks back at you, and I'm like, sorry, man, I didn't mean to. But I don't have much leg room, so I did it again 90 seconds later, and he looked back real aggressively. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry for being tall. Why are you so angry at me? So that's that. Happy Sabbath. And I'm gonna do a real awkward transition into talking about the war in Palestine. So if you have any questions about anything to keep me from talking about cancelable topics, please hit me up. But I really hope we can come up with a ceasefire here soon, huh, guys? What if there's one person in the chat? I don't know who it is. Tell me how you feel about what's going on with the whole. Let's see. Do I have commenters? No, I don't. Tell me how you feel about what's going on with the old war in Palestine. So I re-Instagrammed a thing from my favorite media outlet called Tangle. Read Tangle.com. Also listen to Tangle.com on whatever app you get your podcasts. And they put out an opinion piece on not this Friday, but a week ago, I think, the Zionist case for a ceasefire. Now, the word Zionist has kind of become like a curse word, right? Or depending on who you are, depending on what circles you run in with. And for me, I hear Zionist and I'm like, yeah, it feels a little, I don't know about that. I'm not sure. Because Zionism has come to mean in at least the Western conscious, I think the American conscious or the liberal American conscious, expansionism and killing of, how far back do we want to look, says Maurice. Okay, well, I'll get to this. All right, fuck it. Let's just go back. How far do you think we should go back? I think that it has been long told to us that this is a rivalry that goes back to Abraham and Isaac and whatever the brother's name is, thousands of years, right? Which I can understand. I think that's a little bit bullshit. I think that probably World War II fucked shit up, all right? But it wasn't so bad in the region under the Ottoman Empire. I mean, the Ottoman Empire clearly had a lot of issues, but they weren't too oppressive about religious freedom. Now, the Jews had been spread throughout Europe a lot more they had been kicked out of Israel many times by many different empires. So it was never particularly easy for the Jews. Also, don't think it was ever particularly easy for the Palestinians. Definitely, they didn't like each other that much at a lot of points in history. But then World War II came along, and I'm going to blame the British Empire. Here is my historical philosophy. Always blame the British Empire. Just if you blame the British Empire, you're 90% of the time going to be right. Even if it's the Americans' fault, which oftentimes it will be, you can just point to the British Empire because it's their fault. They did it first. They were the ones that colonized everybody. I mean, we did a kind of a different sort of empire, a different sort of colonization. Not to be proud of it. And I'm not like trying to blame slavery on the British Empire, but they started it. We ended it. We're still trying to end it, but like, come on, the British Empire, the Great Game of Europe, that it's really just like globalization. It's when we saw the worst of globalization. I don't think globalization is a bad thing. Do you think globalization is a bad thing? I don't think globalization is a bad thing. I think it has enriched us in so many ways. Culturally, I think we've made more contact. We're just a totally different human species. Tribalism. I'm not going to say tribalism has gone away. I'm not even going to say tribalism has gone down, but tribalism has changed because in empires like the British Empire that ended up having a lot of people from all over the world immigrate to the polis, to London, to New York City, to Los Angeles, to Paris, to Istanbul, to name the capital of your empire here. It's changed us. And that's a difficult fucking thing to do, all right? Not easy, because historically, for the most part, we fucking hate our neighbors. We go to war with our neighbors. And then, maybe we like have a pretty good peace agreement. And then some fucking empire like the Roman Empire or the Byzantine Empire or the Phoenician Empire or the Egyptian Empire or the Persian Empire or the Syrian Empire comes and fucking takes over and fucks shit up. Or it's not even an empire. It could just be a nomadic people who's getting pushed away by some other nomadic people. You know what happened? Like when the Mongolian Empire, with the Mongols, the Mongolian Empire came out of literally just a nomadic tribe, basically a nomadic family. And then they got powerful. Genghis Khan united the tribes and fucking killed all the steppe people that wouldn't join him and got bigger and bigger and said, hey, we're going to go fuck up the Chinese. We're going to go fuck up the Muslim empires to our south. We're going to go fuck up the Russians. This is how it works. And you know what? People who were fleeing in front of the Mongols came into Hungary and fucked shit up there. That's just how it goes. That is how it has always gone. Now, we've filled up the entire globe now. There's not a lot of lands you can run to. So 1984, kind of awkward. The Jews have been chased out of all the lands they could possibly be chased out of. The Palestinians have been chased out of probably all the lands they, could possibly be chased out of. And we would like to give the Jewish people a home because, Holocausts, not great. We would really like it if we don't do Holocausts anymore. We're working on it. So we said, hey, let's fucking set up a Jewish state. And let's help them protect themselves. I think that's a noble cause. However, when you just plant someone in the middle of a place, it's going to be tough. And that's where we are. It's tough. So the Zionist case for a ceasefire right now, we can't go back to the Balfour Declaration. All right. We can't go back 60. How many years is it now? Don't make me do math live on the internet. We can't go back 75 years and change it. We have to just deal with where we are right now. And where we are right now is either the Jewish and the Palestinian people have a state to live in, both together, separate, or they don't. And hopefully I think they both should. I think the Jewish people should have a place to live. I think the Palestinian people should have a place to live. And yeah, the state of Israel got a big old leg up because the winners of World War II decided to get right behind them, and we've stuck behind them ever since then. But if people are trying to kill you, October 7th, like there's still over 100 hostages held. So I want a ceasefire. There must be a ceasefire. The Netanyahu government needs to fucking support a ceasefire, but Hamas needs to fucking support a ceasefire as well. And the Americans, everyone needs to be pushing for a ceasefire. And supposedly right now, the news that I've heard, which, information is impossible to verify these days because of the internet, Israelis are open to a ceasefire. There is, a 6-week ceasefire that has been agreed to in terms, but Hamas can't verify where the hostages are or even how many of them are alive. Now, if I was the president of Israel, which clearly I am not, I would try to extend some grace and say, like, all right, we'll give you a week and get us some answers. It's a ballsy thing. All right. I had a business thing today where someone owed us some money and we were providing them with some services, some continuous services. And we've been like, hey, you got to pay us. And they're like, okay, we'll pay you Friday. And I was like, okay, reminder, you got to pay us today. And they're like, oh, we're going to pay you Monday. I was like, motherfucker, if you do not pay us today, we will stop our services over the weekend. Weekends, big deal. We talked about this already in the hospitality industry. And so they fucking paid up. So it's much higher stakes than that in Palestine right now, in Israel right now. But I would just hope, I don't have any solutions because, as much as I like to think so when I get on the internet and have a drink and a smoke, I'm not a geopolitics expert, but get a fucking ceasefire done. If you care about your people, get a fucking ceasefire done. I'm saying this to the Netanyahu government, who obviously would be streaming, tuned in live right now, right? And I'm saying this to Hamas, who obviously is also listening. And I'm saying this to anybody who isn't convinced yet that we got to have a ceasefire. Whatever's in your power to try to make this world a better place. And I don't have any power to create a ceasefire in the Middle East, but I do have the power to talk to the people around me and try to create a world where there is less tribalism, less hatred, less division, less sensationalist media, less just stone throwing and just team playing. Trump this, Biden that, Netanyahu that, Hamas that. I want to encourage, even though every individual question to be answered, it's impossible to answer it in a peaceful way that can bring us all together. I want to encourage the spirit of coming together and having conversations. Like if people want to get in the comments and tell me why I'm stupid about why this ceasefire is something that I should be supporting, go for it. But let's do so in a way where we listen, we come together, we hope for the best in humanity. We hope for the best in the people we're having a conversation with. So those are my Sabbath thoughts. I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to leave you with Sabbath thoughts. I know it's a little bit idealistic, but that's who I am. This podcast is called I Don't Know, an Agnostic's Adventure in Subjective Reality. I don't know anything, but I'd like to have a conversation with a whole bunch of other people who don't know anything either. Don't think you fucking know anything. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to check out some of my work on Substack, I started a Substack publication called I Don't Know, an Agnostic's Adventure in Subjective Reality, where I will be doing some longer form writing. Some of it will be spoken word that I will upload here to the podcast, and some of it won't be. There's actually a paywall function there that one of my very good friends, Lauren Gaskill Bascombe, who just had an adorable little baby, she has pledged to give me an annual subscription. Now, I haven't figured out how to take that money from her. I'm going to try to do that this weekend. I'm not going to ask for anybody's subscription because I run a semi-successful company and I don't need anybody's money. But I might be putting some interesting stuff behind the paywall, like this conversation, you know? So peace and love. Thanks for listening. I'll see you on the flip side.